Today's documentary, The Curse of Little Bastard, James Dean's Death Car. George Barris stared at the wreck. It was a mistake. A terrible, gut-churning mistake. Just hours before, he'd agreed to take the mangled Porsche 550 Spyder, the car they called Little Bastard. It arrived at his custom shop in Hollywood, a twisted sculpture of bent silver metal and shattered glass. The seat was stained. The air still smelled of oil, gasoline, and something else. Something metallic. He touched the door frame. A cold shiver shot up his arm. This was James Dean's death car. And now it was his. He should have known. He should have felt it. The air around the wreck was thick, heavy. It was September 30th, 1955. The star was dead. But the car was just getting started. James Dean loved speed. It was a pure, violent love. On that last day, he was heading to a race in Salinas, California. He'd just had the Porsche tuned. A mechanic warned him, "That car is too fast for you, James. It's trouble." Dean just grinned. That rebel smile. He slid into the low-slung silver cockpit. His friend, Rolf Wutherich, climbed into the passenger seat. They roared onto Highway 46 near Sholem, a blur under the afternoon sun. Then, a Ford Tudor sedan pulled out. The driver, a college student named Donald Turnipseed, didn't see them. The impact was catastrophic. A sickening, final crunch of aluminum and bone. Dean, just 24 years old, was pronounced dead at Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital. Wutherich was thrown clear, critically injured. The little bastard was a crumpled, hissing wreck. But it was not finished. Not even close. Enter George Barris, the legendary king of customizers. He bought the wreck for $2,500. A morbid curiosity. The car was delivered to his shop. Barris unloaded the twisted husk. It sat in a corner. His mechanics avoided it. The silence around it was different. One man, a young mechanic, didn't listen to the whispers. He approached the car. He needed to remove the drivetrain. The Porsche was propped up on jacks. He crawled underneath. The cold metal above him. The silence of the garage. Then a sound. A sharp, metallic pop. The car lurched. The jacks gave way. 2 tons of German engineering slammed down. The mechanic screamed. The car crushed both his legs. His cries echoed through the shop. They managed to lift the car off him. An ambulance wailed in the distance. The first victim of the curse. The first, but not the last. Barris was shaken, but he was a rational man. A businessman. It was a terrible accident. A faulty jack. Coincidence. He decided to loan the parts out. The engine and drivetrain went to Dr. Troy McHenry, a skilled amateur racer. On October 24, 1956, at the Pomona races, McHenry lined up. The engine roared, Dean's engine. On the straightaway, something went wrong. His car swerved violently. It shot off the track. It smashed into a tree. Troy McHenry died on impact. In that same race, in another car, another driver, William Eschred. He was using the transmission from the little bastard. He lost control on a simple turn. His car flipped. He survived, but was critically injured. He later told investigators, "It felt like the car had a mind of its own." 2 cars. 2 crashes. One source. The parts from the Spyder. The body of the car was next. Barris, now deeply unnerved, sold the shell to 2 young enthusiasts. They wanted to exhibit it. A traveling highway safety show. See the car that killed James Dean. It was a ghoulish spectacle. In Redding, California, the display was set up in a parking lot. The wreck sat on a flatbed trailer. A teenager, a curious boy, leaned against the trailer. He was just looking. The metal cables holding the car snapped. Without warning, the entire wreck slid off the trailer. It fell directly onto the boy. It broke his hip. The exhibitors packed up the car. Their hands were trembling. What was this thing? The tour continued, but the violence followed. In New Orleans, the garage storing the exhibit burned to the ground. Every car inside was incinerated, reduced to blackened skeletons. Except one. The exhibitors quit. They wanted it gone. They loaded the cursed car onto a truck. They were shipping it back to California. They sealed it in a heavy wooden crate. They nailed it shut. They watched as it was loaded onto a sealed railway car. The doors of the freight car were locked. A steel seal was applied. The train pulled out into the night. The nightmare, they thought, was finally over. The train arrived in Los Angeles. The freight car was intact. The seal was unbroken. The workers approached. They heaved open the heavy doors. They expected to see the crate. They saw emptiness. The freight car was completely empty. The wooden crate, large enough to hold a car, was gone. Vanished. There were no holes in the floor or roof. The locks were untouched. The seal was pristine. It was as if the crate, and the car inside it, had simply ceased to exist. Police were baffled. Railroad investigators were stunned. How do you steal a 1,500-pound wreck from a moving, sealed train car? No one had an answer. The little bastard had escaped. It was gone, but its legacy of death was just shifting gears. Years passed. The story became legend. A Hollywood ghost story. Then, in 1960, a chilling report surfaced. In Florida, a young garage owner named Henry Hank Wyman acquired a mysterious crate of used auto parts. He was rebuilding a car. In the crate, he found a distinctive steering assembly, a mangled gearbox, parts he didn't fully recognize. He installed them. He took the car out for a test drive on a lonely back road. The steering locked. The car veered off a bridge. Wyman drowned in 3 feet of water. When investigators pulled the car from the creek, they identified the parts. The serial numbers were a match. They were components from the little bastard. The car had dissolved, but its pieces were still out there, still killing. A reporter named Loren Janes picked up the trail. He was a stuntman, a friend of Dean's. He didn't believe in curses. He believed in facts. He started digging. He tracked down every rumor, every police report. The list grew. A truck driver hauling the wrecked shell was killed when his truck inexplicably jackknifed. A thief who tried to steal the Porsche's steering wheel from a storage yard was found the next day. His hand was nearly severed, cut by jagged metal. The stories piled up. A garage in Oregon that stored a piece of the frame burned down. A man in Washington who claimed to have a piece of the upholstery died in a house fire. Janes compiled the toll, 1 superstar dead. At least 5 others grievously injured. 2 confirmed dead from parts-related crashes. Countless mysterious fires and accidents. A trail of blood and broken bones stretching from California to Florida. What rational explanation could tie this together? A psychologist might speak of the expectant attention, where belief in a curse makes people careless. A statistician might call it a tragic, but random, cluster. But the witnesses, the victims, they felt something else. George Barris, years later, his voice still heavy with dread, said, "That car was alive. And it was angry." Rolf Wutherich, the passenger who survived the initial crash, lived with crippling guilt and pain for decades. He died in 1981 in another car crash in Germany. The circle never closed. It just widened. Today, the mystery is colder, but no less sharp. Where is the little bastard? Did it disintegrate in that train car? Was it secretly dismantled and scattered to the winds? Or does it sit, whole and waiting, in some dark, forgotten warehouse? Its parts are the ultimate macabre collectibles. Some swear they have a bolt, a shred of leather. They keep them in locked boxes. They speak of bad luck that follows the fragments. The curse is now a virus, infecting anything it touches. James Dean sought immortality through speed. He achieved a different kind of eternity. His death was the catalyst for a story that refuses to die. A story where metal seems to remember, where machinery holds a grudge. The little bastard is gone, but it is not gone. It's out there, in a garage, in a shed, in the chassis of a car you might pass on the highway. A piece of silver metal, cold to the touch, waiting for the next hand to turn a key, the next foot to press a pedal, to continue its relentless, hungry journey. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you fascinating documentaries on history, science, civilizations, mysteries, and the untold stories that shaped our world. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a new release. See you in the next one.